So,
well, there's one I found. Again, was three lads. They were naval cadets, all in the all about 15.
mm-hmm.
They were it's down Carl's way, Suffolk way, village called Kersey. They were doing a map reading exercise. They were told to go out, find this village, have a look round, and then come back. Yeah. Tell us what you see. We'll know whether you've been there, because we'll know from what you've seen, what you say you've seen. They were all totally strangers to the area. So they set off. They're walking up towards this village. They can hear the bells ringing, the church bells ringing. And as they got into the village, everything went quiet. Church bells stopped. But they started noticing strange things, that there was nothing at all. Nobody moving about. Even the ducks on the pond were just sat there, not moving. There was no one about. There was no cars or anything on the street, which even in those days, in the late 50s, there would have been cars, there would have been telephone lines, TV aerials and the like. But there was nothing. And all the time they were walking around, there was virtually no sound. They looked in through the windows. There's no one in the houses. The houses looked like they were ancient, bloody timber framed and everything.
Yeah.
They looked through one. There was 3 carcasses hung up. They presumed it must have been a butcher's. But the meat was going mouldy. And all the time they were thinking, there's something not right here. There's something just... In the end, it spoke to them that much that they legged it. But as they reached the top of the hill out of the village, all of a sudden they could hear the church bells again. And they looked back, there's smoke coming out of the chimneys. There was a car parked on the street. There's all sorts of different things that weren't there when they were in the village. They went back, reported to whoever it was who was in command. And they were, you're taking a mickey.
Yeah.
But we know you've been there because of some of the things you've seen. But it was years later in the 80s. They were on a telephone call. 2 of them had moved to Australia. 1 of them had moved elsewhere. And they were talking about it. Saying, it's weird that. One of them had read a book by, I forget his name, Andrew Mackenzie.
Yeah.
Who's head of the Society of Paranormal Events or something. Who'd written a book. So one of the lads actually got in touch with him and told him the story. And they kept in contact for quite a while. He's over in Australia. This guy's in England. The guy in Australia came over and he went back to the village. And he was telling him, well, that was this and this. And when he actually did some research, they reckon they must have had a time slip back to the medieval times.
You just reminded me of another story from around here, not one of mine.
But they're saying the village itself was as modern as it was in 57. There were, like I said, there was post office. But the other thing that when they were talking about it, recalling it. He says, I can't remember seeing the church when we were walking round. I can't remember seeing that there was a pub when we looked back, but there was no pub there